Broncos and Parts Garage. My name's Chris. If you're new to the channel, please stick around till the end. You'll see additional link for content we've already created and uploaded. Behind me, I've got my 24 F250. It's that Power Stroke truck I bought. We call it the Bronco hauler. It also hauls the Hummer really well too, because that's a really heavy vehicle. Anyway, a couple weeks ago, you guys saw us install the amber vent lights in the fenders. So far, so good. We haven't had any issues with them, and believe it or not, every once in a while at a gas station, someone will come up to me and ask if it's factory or not. I think they look fantastic. What we're doing today, we got a hold of our friends over at www.f150leds.com, and we ordered up some more lights. I ordered up a set of these pod lights that mount under my rear bumper. Normally, you'd wire these up to your your reverse switch. This truck came with that auxiliary bank, or the, what is it, Josh, the outfitter bank?
Auxiliary switch bank. Yeah.
Auxiliary switch bank, you know, just in front of the sunroof. So I'm going to wire these up to that for two reasons. One, I kind of want to have the control. And two, if anyone gets behind me and flashes their brights, I can flip that switch and blind them back. I guess we tried these out in the shop when it was dark, and they're very bright. This is the UST, or the fog light. So it's a near lens, they call it. It's not a spot beam. It looks like it gets diffused with these reflectors that are on the light. I've got two of these going in, and we're gonna run the harness all the way up front. I did have to order an auxiliary harness because it just wasn't long enough. If you don't have a crew cab long truck like this, you don't have nothing to worry about. Then up front, we're gonna be putting in these quad pods. The pod light with 4 lights, so quad pod. These are gonna mount right here. And I'm really happy about that. They're gonna be in a fixed position after we adjust them. Again, I'm going to mount these to the outfitter switches, or upfitter switches that are above the, above the center console. These are going to be a spotlight beam. They do offer different types of beams. You can get amber, flood, even I think red, but you have to check on their site again, f150leds.com. To mount these, we also had to purchase these brackets, nice powder coated brackets. These are going to mount under the hood and bring those lights into focus once we get them installed. So with that, normally you'd wire these lights to your battery, and they do come with the harnesses. They do come with their on and off switches. We're not using those because the truck came with it. If you're doing that, it's very simple. Obviously, you want to go right to your battery, and you're going to wire the switch that they include with you inside the vehicle, push it through a hole in the firewall, and you peel and stick or screw the switches into place. They're just a normal push button switch, very simple. We're doing it a little bit different, again, because the upfitter switches. We're not going to show you how snaking that harness underneath the truck. The truck's really dirty right now. We've power washed it a million times. Hey, I'm filming a video. Can I call you back? That was easy. I don't know who that was. We're not going to show you. We're not going to show you how we wire it up, but we will show you how we wire it up to the switch bank underneath the hood, especially if you're doing a video, or excuse me, you're doing a project with this truck specifically. This will be perfect for you. But installing these is pretty generic on any vehicle. They're going to give you the right brackets. They're going to give you the right wiring, and it's up to you to decide where you want to mount the switches, or if you want to use a different make of switches. A lot of talk about switches. You know what we're going to do right now? We're going to get some tools, and we're going to get started. Okay, we're back. We've got the pod light out of the box. We've got the tools. I'll put links in the description if you need to grab some tools to do this job. We've also got the bracketry and hardware. It comes with the Allen wrench. They actually threw in this nice little measuring pad, or a desktop pad, or workbench pad. Go ahead, Josh. Put it together and let us know what you're doing.
All right, so you want to have the ears facing forward, because they only can go on one way like this. Then you take this L bracket right here, put it on like that. Take this bigger bolt. Make sure you put it in from the bottom, otherwise the stud of the bolt's just going to be ramming right into these cooling fins.
All right.
Put the lock washer on it, then tighten this down.
And these are really nice, guys. These are powder coated. These are aluminum. It's a very, very high quality piece. You don't really need to crank these down super tight. We're going to tighten them up, but you're not going to be doing any adjustability after you mount this. The only adjustability is going to be on how you angle these lights.
After you get this L bracket onto this bracket, what you do here, slide it right in there, and then drop these little Allen bolts in from the side.
Remember, guys, when you're putting these together, make sure you put the bracket on the top. They do say Spartan on them, and there's a small American flag. Just make sure all that is orientated in the proper position. And you're going steel into aluminum, so again, don't go crazy on these, but get them nice and tight, because you will be doing some adjusting under there if you want to. I'm setting mine basically to go straight back, and I think I jokingly alluded to what I was going to be using these for when people tailgated me. But in the proper use, you want them angled down a little bit. You know, you want to just light up the area you're backing up to, whether it be a trailer or a camper or whatever. Okay, we're going to do the other one off camera. Let's go get these installed. Okay, we're back. We're underneath the driver's side rear bumper, and we found the mounting bolt. It's a Torx bit. T40. It's interesting because we've backed this bolt out to check it. There is a collar on the back of this bolt that goes through this bumper plate into the bed of the truck, or another portion of the bumper, I should say. So go ahead, Josh, back that out. And that's what I'm talking about. See that neck on there? So when it goes through the bracket, that is not going to go in the bracket hole. I don't think it's going to change much as far as the structural integrity of my truck. So go ahead, Josh. Show them how it's done.
Like any fastener, you want to run it in by hand before you send it with the impact?
Yeah, it's going through one of those extruded J-bolts or U-nuts. But go ahead and run that in.
Just like that. That shoulder is going to make it stick out a little bit, but like we said, it should not be a big deal.
Yeah, don't feel the need to run that in and flatten that out. We thought about getting a different bolt, but for right now, that's going to do. It only requires one. And here's what the lights look like when they're installed. And you can see right here, they are just underneath that bumper. I know that light's kind of bright. Sorry about that. And you can see we can probably loosen that up and tweak these. We will once we get them. Once we get them both installed, we'll make sure these are parallel to the ground, or even with the body line or the sculpture lines of the bumper. So we're going to do the next one off camera, and then we're going to start running that harness. Okay, we're back. Josh has the two pod lights mounted under the bumper. They look fantastic. He also took the time to run the wiring harness. Now, again, we had to get the extended harness kit because how long this crew cab truck is. It goes from the rear bumper all the way up the frame rail underneath the hood into this kind of mess of wire right now. And Josh can explain to you how to wire all this up, and it really is going to be a lot easier than it looks for me right now, for that matter. When you're running the harness, guys, use your head. Keep it away from anything that's moving, like your suspension. Keep it away from your drive shaft. Keep it away from any sharp metal. Like you see here, there's a lot of aluminum in these trucks now, at least the Ford trucks, and you get some sharp edges underneath there, and you want to keep it away from heat sources. Josh's biggest tip to me, and I guess to you guys, would be let Ford do the thinking for you. Run it along their harnesses. If their harnesses are in a good spot, that means the aftermarket harness will be in a good spot. You know, let the Ford engineers figure most of this out for you. Make sure you're armed with a bunch of zip ties, some clips, and just get it installed. Josh went ahead and ran the pod light harnesses, which are very simple. We're just running them underneath the hood prop. And then we're going to show you how to install these brackets. There's one here and one there. We just got them mocked up right now. But we've got both the harnesses in place. And again, we are running this to the upfitter aux box switches. There's like a relay box under the hood. Josh is going to show you how to wire this all up. But right now, we're going to, and not necessarily in this order, we're going to show you how to get the brackets and lights mounted. We're going to plug them in. We're going to assemble, here Josh, take a look over here. We're going to assemble the quad pod, as I call them. We're going to assemble these on the bracket, and then we're going to get them installed, wire this all up, and test fit these things. Let's get started.
All right, so now what we're going to do is assemble this bracket onto the pod light. Now, got to make sure everything's orientated right, so the lettering and the flags face up on the video. First thing I'm going to do is drop the bolt in here, throw this lock washer on, and just start this by hand. This is just to keep everything together, so when we bring it over the truck, it's ready to go. Now, with these lights, it's going to be sitting on the truck with the lettering up, obviously, so you want to have the bracket ears forward on the bottom side. First thing you got to do, though, however, is put it face down and drop these nylon lock nuts into the slots. Just like that. And like that. Now what you want to do is get these Allen bolts, Start from the side, like that.
And they do supply the Allen wrench, which was nice with the kit. He does it from time to time, everybody.
Yeah, okay.
And you don't have to crank these down too tight, but you are going steel into steel. So get them tight. They're going to be in the wind. All right.
Just like that. It's assembled, ready to go on the truck.
Okay, we're going to do the other one off camera. Right now, let's get those brackets installed. All right, so here's the bracket. As you can see, there's two slots right here. There's one here and one here. I hope you can see that against the sea of black plastic underneath here. This is the bracket for the lights. There's a right and a left side. It's very simple to figure it out. Underneath the hinge over here, there's two 13mm bolts. You do not need to remove them all the way. Josh is going to back them out about 1/4 of an inch or so, the thickness of this metal, back them out.
He's going to slide this right under from the side once we get it snugged in there.
Yeah, he's going to slide it in. We're going to tighten them back down and then snug them up. We're going to use a power wrench to loosen them and tighten them. Then we're going to use one of the Tecton tools to actually get in there and tighten them so we can get a good feel of how tight they are. Go ahead, Josh. Let's get it done here. I'll hold that. And again, you don't need to take them all the way out, and the instructions tell us how to. Okay, slide that bracket in there, and be careful. You could always get some green painter's tape and paint off your truck if you're worried about scratching it, but it should go in pretty smooth. There's a rubber gasket over there, correct, Josh?
Yep.
All right, you got it in. There's no metal to metal contact, no paint touching over there.
Just like that. We just have to hold it in while we tighten them down. Okay.
Get them tight. And again, we'll probably run them in with this Milwaukee, and then we'll actually hand tighten them, maybe even torque them down off camera.
Like that for the front one, and the rear one I'm going to have to do with a wrench.
Okay, we've got the bracket tightened in, and Josh is going to take the assembled light like you see here, and he's going to mount it right here. It's very simple. Go ahead, Josh. I'm going to talk while you're mounting that. It goes out with a lock washer. We're going to tuck the wiring behind the fender. It only goes behind half the fender sheet metal because there's kind of a lip there. I'll show you what I'm talking about, but I think it's the best way to get this harness to your power source and to the relay. Take your time doing this. Make sure you don't cross thread anything. And we did notice that the bolts that mount these lights are fairly long, so we might come back later on and cut these down, or see if F150LEDs.com has a shorter bolt, because we do want them to be painted or powder coated black, however they sent them to us. As you can see right here, I don't really like how low that is, but it's not going to touch my paint ever. I'm just a stickler for that kind of thing, so we'll do that at a later date. Go ahead and tighten those up, Josh. So we're going to line these lights up too in the dark. Mainly, I told Josh for the video, I want them pointing straight and then slightly in.
Slightly out.
Slightly out, sorry. Because my headlights are pretty bright on this truck. They're LED as well. But as you can see, this thing is that's rock solid. I can't wait to fire these up. And he's got the harness. Now he's plugging that to the relay. And again, he's going to zip tie that down to the bracket so I don't hear any rattling and we don't get any chafing. And then Josh is going to go in here and explain exactly how he's got this bird's nest of wiring wired up. And it looks worse, but it's very, very, very simple. Okay, we're getting ready to attach the positive and negative terminals that come from the relay harness that was provided with the kit. Normally, I would say disconnect your positive and negative battery terminals whenever you're doing any type of electronics. I did not do that here. So this is an instance where I'm doing, ready. Okay, we're back. We're going to be installing the positive and negative terminals now that come from the relay that came with the harness kit. Normally I would say disconnect your positive, negative battery terminals right here. We did not do that. I told Josh not to. It just makes it a little bit more dangerous to arc out, if you're swinging a wrench and it hits some of the other metal under the hood. So again, I would actually recommend that you disconnect the positive and negative terminals. In this instance, we are going to be putting them to a hot battery, so you always want to start with the positive and then end with the negative. But again, when you're swinging these wrenches or ratchets such as that Josh has, just make sure you don't tap it or go into any of the other metal, because you will spark it. You don't want to do that, especially with these newer trucks and the electronics. You don't want to mess anything up. So Josh, go ahead and have at it.
Now on this vehicle, it's very easy because these are studs on the battery terminals. Some vehicles don't have that, but newer Fords usually do. What you want to do is just slide the nut off, take both the positives, slide them right on there, And tighten this nut back down. You want to try to get them to sit flat too, so it torques down properly.
Yeah, and you want to clock the wire so you can get that rubber boot back over the top as well. And it looks like Josh has it perfect. And again, watch your swinging with those wrenches. You don't want to touch any of the metal. You don't want any sparks. We're going to do the negative in the same fashion. And with Ford putting these upfitter or, I don't know, auxiliary switches in the truck and then the little junction box under the hood, it makes it really, really easy to add accessories. I wish they had made the box a little bit bigger and
more accessible.
More accessible because you
gotta get cramped here.
You got to pull it up and it's going to get cramped because they got there's six switches. It's going to get kind of lumpy and chumpy and crowded there, lumpy and chumpy.
All right, now we're on the point where we got to pull up this relay box and get to the wiring underneath. Now there's two plastic tabs right here on the side, or metal tabs that go into plastic. You can't really see them from this angle. Let me take the camera for a second. They're right down in there. And what you want to do is use a screwdriver and press them in and pull the box up. Now I've already popped them off camera, so we're going to pull this box up now.
And this is the same process we used for the vent lights that are in the fenders. So if for some reason you can't see something we're doing here, just go back to that fender video and you may be able to see something you missed here.
So now what we got to do is peel back this electrical tape to access the wiring. Really on there.
Now is that tape we supplied or is that Ford's tape?
It comes pre-taped, but I also retaped it when I put it back together. So.
All right. Excellent. And you can see all those terminated wires that Ford has there. It's interesting, guys, why Josh is doing that. And interrupt me whenever you're ready, Josh. But I guess Ford made this new wire loom out of something that mice and squirrels love to eat. They didn't use the plastic. They used whatever that woven fabric is. And I've heard a lot of reports of rodents, like right away, getting under the hood and chewing that stuff up. So check your truck every once in a while, especially if you live out in the rural areas.
So what I'm doing now is looking at this little plastic guide they give you that's attached to this wire. It tells you which relays output what. So you can use this to also figure out what relays are powered by the switches inside your cabin. So right now I'm looking to see which relay 2 and 3 are, because that's the ones we're tapping into today.
Yeah, I want the switch number 2 to be the quad pods up on the hood, and I want switch number 3 to be the reverse lights. Just so I don't accidentally blind people when I reach up there. Switch number 1 right now is the orange vent lights, and again, those could have been mounted to my marker lights, but this being a diesel, I did not want to take out the air boxes, battery trays, etc., etc. We went an easier route, and I'm really happy with it. I just leave them on. It turns off with the key.
Here's the two we're going to be tapping into today, which is violet orange and blue green. So now what you want to do, it's been heat shrink and sealed from the factory to prevent corrosion. What we're going to do is cut that right off. Like that. And after cutting this off, we need to strip it back to a usable amount of copper. Now, what we're going to do is take the wires from the relay, which is 2 pairs here. Now the taped together pair, which this one slipped out, but this pair right here runs to our reverse lights, and this pair right here runs to our front spotlights. So we're going to be setting up these spotlights on switch number 2, which, just double checking, is the violet and orange one.
I do have to issue a warning here. Josh said the word copper, and I'm pretty sure that Meth Head Fred might have heard that, and he might be coming over here looking for scrap wire now.
We are in grave danger.
Yeah. Stay away from Meth Head Fred. If you watch any of my other videos, he's the guy that butchered my power washers.
These are extremely thin wires, but they're really a pain to strip with these strippers.
I'd use your teeth.
No, thank you. Yeah.
Oh, and he did use his teeth. It's interesting because they're LEDs, man, and they use so little voltage, so low amperage.
Then again, these small little wires here, all they do is power the relays.
Yeah. Just amazing how much juice can go through. You know, that wire is like human hair. There we go. Yeah. Did you lose any of them, or are they all good?
That's good.
All right.
I did a little extra so I could double it back because we need enough to crimp in there. Right. So there's one. I gotta do this other one now.
Yeah, take your time doing this. And again, if you don't have wire strippers, I'll put links in the video description. If you don't know how to get the video description, guys, just click on the title, click on more, and it'll drop down and you'll see it. Sometimes I put chapters in these, so you click on a certain timeline, it'll go right to what we're doing. You don't have to scroll through the video. But I'll also put a link in for some automatic strippers too. Those are really popular.
Those are very nice to have.
I think there's a pair in here, but I don't know where they're at in this shop. But Josh is going to shrink tube these, and again, links for everything. Now would be a good time if you haven't. Guys, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video, especially if you know anyone with a Super Duty truck. These lights are a game changer. We're up here in Michigan. You know, we get some really foul weather sometimes. It gets foggy. We get rain, a lot of snow. Well, we used to get a lot of snow, not so much anymore. But, you know, lights are a game changer, and they're safe.
All right, now we're at the point of wearing this. Let me double check third time. It is the violet and orange. All right, first thing we're going to start with is getting this little crimp connector. I'm a big fan of using these usually. It's very easy for me to quickly hook up stuff. However, when I do use these, if it's not the non-heat shrink style like this one, I take a piece of heat shrink, put it over it, and then shrink it down afterwards. What you're going to do, slide this right on there. And then on the back side of these, there's always crimpers right here.
Yep. Crimping and pimping.
Something like that. You get this in here. Just give it a good squeeze. Just like that. All right. I'm going to slop this on right now. You always want to put that on before you put the second end on, or you're not getting it on.
Right.
It's a very common mistake people like to make. I'm just going to take this other end here, pop that right in there, and then crimp this end down.
Yeah. And guys, if we had more time, you know, we might solder these together, but the fact that it's going back in that relay box or junction box, they're pretty well connected. It's pretty dry underneath this hood.
If it's something on the chassis or frame, something real down low, it might have some water spraying at it, then you might want to consider soldering because it's nothing really beats that kind of connection. Just like that. All right.
Now you want to shrink it up?
Yep. Now we have to be very mindful with the heat in here, but we are going to get this sealed up. Let me find something I can kind of hold this up with, because it's supposed to slide down. There we go. That'll work.
Go easy. I'll hold these right here.
Yep. Like I said, you want to be very mindful if you're going to do this the way we're going to do it with a blowtorch.
Yeah, you can use a heat gun too, guys, or you know, oh, you're really hitting it. Yeah, do that end too, right there.
Needs a little more back there. Yep. Wants to burn a little. Sometimes you got to do it in bursts. It's not working too well because that is a very tiny wire going into there. But the other end's sealed up.
We can pinch that a little bit right there. Yeah, that one's good. We might have used too big of a size too, but irregardless, that's better than not. And again, I don't recommend using a giant map torch in there, but it's all we had right now because none of us smoke. So now the next thing he's going to do, is he's going to repeat the same process for the second set of switches on that, what color is that you said, the teal wire?
This is the blue with the green stripe.
Okay.
This is for the third switch output.
Yep, and that would be the rear reverse lights. Yep. I'm gonna have him do that off camera since he's just gonna repeat what he just did, but I'll show you when he buttons this all up. Okay, you can see Josh has got all the wires kind of coiled up. He's got them wrapped with black electrical tape. Guys, this black electrical tape isn't protecting anything, it's just keeping these wires together. And that's the same way it came from the factory. Now he's gonna tuck it back into this box and snap it into place. Go ahead, Josh.
All right. Now, this is gonna be slightly more complicated now with all these extra wires under here, but the general consensus is
best to get this on video.
You wanna get this down. These hoses fight you a little bit. You might just have to push on them a little bit. And then what you do is just snap it into place like that.
I heard them click. And guys, the lights are actually wired up. We're gonna turn them on and check them out. We'll be right back. Okay, we turned out the lights in the shop. It's pitch black. The reflection you see in the camera right now is just my heads-up display. But here is the front quad lights, or the hood lights. Let's fire them up. So you can't tell, but they are massively bright. And when you're standing in front of the truck, they will blind you. I mean, these are fantastic. I don't even have them pointed the way I want right now. I think I'm going to have them go off out to the side a little bit because, again, the forward headlights take care of the center. The reverse lights are just as bright. Let's go get a video of that. Yeah, as you can see, it's brutal bright. If you were shining your bright lights behind me, you're going to get a face full of you're going to get a face full of light. But if you're backing up a trailer, hunting, doing anything you got to do, these are going to be fantastic. I'm really happy with these. Let's get back to our outro, and we'll see you in a minute. So that wraps it up for today. We've got the lights installed. So far we've got the two quad pods, I call them. They probably don't want me to call them that, but the hood lights. We've got the reverse lights. We've got the vent lights installed. As you can see, we're really happy with this company. F-150 LEDs. Give them a shot. Go to the website. See if they have the lights for your particular vehicle. And if you're rocking a Super Duty, you're all set. They've got everything. The next thing I think we're going to install is the light bar that goes underneath the bumper. We don't want to drill any holes, so we're working that out right now. Again, every time we call for customer support, they've been on time. They ship when they say they're going to ship. It's been a pleasant company to work with, to say the least. Josh, you have anything to add about the install?
Just one more thing on the wiring. Can't go wrong with following the factory harnesses. It just keeps it away from anything that could possibly harm the wire, destroy the wire, damage the wire. Simplest thing to do.
Yeah, like you said, just do what they do. I mean, they're the engineers that built this thing.
They figured it out for us.
Kinda. I mean, it's a Ford. I'm kidding. The heat shrink and all the other tools, all the little knickknacks that we use to do this. Again, I'll put links in the video description. Guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And if you want to see us put a gas Godzilla motor in a Ford Bronco, that series started a couple weeks ago, right? And it's in process right now. We'll see you next time.